Hey, good morning, everybody. Oh, hold on. Almost forgot. There we go. Now you're back on screen, guys. Welcome, Tenwin, Lord Brownberg. Good to see you guys. We'll be going back into Disco Elysium today. The internet exploded just an hour ago. Like, turned off or, like, something happened in your country, Tenwin. There's a big difference there. There's a lot of room to interpretation. Flugel, welcome. Welcome as well. Good to see you guys. So, yes, we'll be continuing Disco Elysium today. If I can even remember what we were doing. All right, we've got 3 points right now, and we have... Right, we need to... Oh, God, we're doing the same thing. We've been going up and down between two people the last, like, 3 hours in game. Switch 2 announcements. Deltarune 3 and 4. Silksong confirmed. New FromSoft title Switch exclusive. I did catch that, yes. Already the Bloodborne crowd is like, oh my God, we might be getting something that's very similar to Bloodborne. What the fuck do you mean it's a Switch exclusive? Yeah, it's an exclusive, Lord Brownbear. FromSoft continues to occasionally have to do what they need to do in order to get their games out, and at the same time, it makes all of us hate it. We have literally been going up and down these stairs this entire freaking, like, was what, almost half of the last stream of Disco Elysium? I don't even know if she's still up here. Yes, okay, she is. All right.
It's always good to see you.
Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you and what's to come.
Well, the Hardy Boys told us what really happened.
I understand.
He puts the coffee mug back on the table.
Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight.
You don't look surprised. Were you expecting this?
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to questions. Is it? Something is off here.
Oh.
Shush, I can't hear what she's saying.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. Out of the shit I'd gotten into.
Ma'am, you know that's not a good enough reason.
You're right. There's more. You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again. A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon, wine dark in the evening light.
And what's beyond it?
The Pearl, the Muindi Isola, the Occident, and then Oranje, the old world.
What's the RCM's involvement with the moral intern got to do with this?
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts.
Is this part of why Oranje is a bad memory for you?
I have people after me. And they have friends in the moral intern. Some are moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will.
What happens if they do?
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the moral intern mill, well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
Actually, this murder did have a little to do with her.
What did you do to have these kind of people after you?
It's not nice, but it's not illegal. Not here in Revachol, or even in Oranje.
What exactly did you do?
Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again, with a bigger company. The kind you really, really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers, 2 decades worth of accounting.
I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you.
The job was Lou's doing County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Lou Scott conglomerate. That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them.
Well, sounds more like she was in the financial sector, Lord Brownbear, rather than an industrial giant.
As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me too, along with Lou Scott and their friends in the MI. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies. You're radioactive.
Lowe's Cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration, Airberg, and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products.
Serves them right. When I am king, the savings bank will be first against the wall. That's a lot of shit you've gotten yourself into, ma'am.
It is. Many people lost their jobs. Not just C-suite. Ordinary people. What I did to get to accounting...
She shakes her head at the thought.
A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with.
So
You're
then
solving a murder.
What happened here the night he died?
We were there.
He points
Together.
to the window.
In bed, I mean.
The silhouette of the bed is visible. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to tell me exactly what happened.
Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open. Dumb. I could see. I could...
Her chest rises and falls with each word. She keeps herself together and says it.
I knew he was dead. Before he fell down on top of me.
Wouldn't exactly go that far, Tenwin, but yes, she's painting a very vivid picture. You know, up until the point where the guy died literally on top of her. Then what happened, ma'am?
He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs.
There's a long pause. She just stands there, her arms at her side.
I waited for the second shot to come. For me. I thought there would be one. It never came.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Your cigarette, miss.
Oh.
He looks at it and tosses it aside. I'm sorry this happened to you.
So am I.
She immediately proceeds to light another one.
What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible.
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
So it was, in fact, one hell of a shot. As near as we can tell, because again, the only way to hit this window would be to have a line of sight on the top of this building. And there aren't many buildings to our west that have the height needed to see into the whirling in rags from a distance. I'm guessing the room was lit, most likely, and from the looks of it, this balcony would not provide any kind of cover. But there's not many there's not many large buildings out to the west of here. It's all the shoreline and then the water lock and then over to the other side. Paratrooper sniper? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual.
Titus said you looked pretty high, though.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head.
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
No,
What did you do then?
nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little.
Well, it must have been a long-range shot, because the bullet was a rifle round, but it didn't penetrate the back of his skull after it went through his mouth. So it must have been at the very extreme edge of its effective range. There was a little enough cranial damage, I could easily imagine considerable distance. Was a factor? Oh, absolutely.
He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore. So I ran down and out of my room, into the hallway. down the stairs. I knew there would be people there.
When it happened, did you hear a gunshot?
When he was shot? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding.
That's true. The glass would have covered up any
The
sound.
gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something to keep in mind when assessing the distance of the shot.
What happened after you ran downstairs?
Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the Union box was full. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong.
Ruby?
It's Ruby.
Ruby. You know, the leader.
The leader? Of what?
The Hardy Boys.
We thought Titus Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys.
Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She's the organizer.
This Ruby, in her phrasing, is entrusted with great power. She trusts her. So do the others.
So we assumed that Titus was the officer, essentially, to use military vernacular, when in reality he's actually the senior NCO, so to speak.
Would you say she is the 8th Hardy boy?
Why not?
Okay, let's go on from there. What then?
Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation, that I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright.
To mislead you, they were tampering with the body.
To produce lividity, matching a hanging?
Yes.
We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this, 20 minutes after death?
So no one heard the gunshot? No one that we've encountered yet. Maybe somebody further to the west might have heard it if that's where the shot came from.
About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... You know what he does.
She looks at the ground, then raises her light brown eyes to meet yours. What did you
Ruby
do?
went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on. His armor, too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging. Ruby said they would.
Ruby being a reliable person sort of conflicts with the lady lorry driver being unstable. They didn't say she was unstable. Tommy explicitly said that she was dangerous. The kind of person who's already been through hell, so to speak, and come out the other side. He said that everyone was afraid of her, not that she was unstable. Or I think Tommy might have used unstable, but more referring to her emotional, maybe, well, I'm looking at this the wrong way. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I think he meant more that she was the kind of person who seemed like they were living on the edge, so to speak. Somebody who could become unstable in the right circumstances, but who otherwise just kind of has this air of already damaged, if that makes sense. I hope I'm coming across properly. He did say that, but Tommy also said she was a danger to herself. He said he felt she was a danger to herself. He didn't know. And to be fair, I think that might just be because Tommy is a very, like, down-to-earth, like, empathetic person. He might have just seen her and thought that she was in trouble with herself, so to speak.
Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. That we should lay low or something. So I did.
This Ruby, where is this Ruby now?
I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy boys.
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did? Look into this later.
It's a matter of procedure, but we have to ask. Did you kill him?
What?
She
Why would I
gathers
put
the last
myself through this? Insanity. Get myself cornered like this.
She gathers the last vestiges of her strength.
He wouldn't have died if it weren't for me. I know that. But I would never hurt him.
I say it conflicts, but then again, my 10-year watching VTubers tell me that crazy women draw in huge audiences. I mean, yeah. Plus, there's always certain degrees of crazy. There's functional crazy. There's someone who can be underneath it all very mentally disturbed, but who on the surface is able to maintain what they need to for functioning in life. It could be that this Ruby person's one of those people, someone who's deeply traumatized and buries a lot of the issues that they have beneath that. But it does seem to fit with what Tommy said, which is she is, above everything, dangerous.
It could have been a desire murder. Maybe an act of jealousy. He was a serviceman. He must have had a gun lying around, close to her hand. A military weapon using jacketed ammunition. Now, you guys suddenly have theories pouring out, when they're obviously just stabs in the dark.
Volition's trying to wrangle the rest of our skill set right now. The fuck? Where are these coming from? You're just stabbing in the dark, you idiots. Hold on. Could have been a desire murder. He was a serviceman, so that's the first time I've seen your skills argue. Yeah. Well, I mean, they have a little bit in the past, but this is the first time Volition is like, especially Volition, because he is supposed to be like our core mental stat, is like, wait a second, the fuck are you guys on right now? Okay, so number 3 and number 4 got added because of a suggestion in logic. Did he have a weapon nearby? Could you have used that?
No. I specifically asked him not to carry firearms when he was with me. He only had his stupid armor.
Yeah, if it was at close range like that, it would have blown out the back of his head and everyone in the building and the surrounding buildings would have heard it. The bullet in his head was jacketed, military grade. Do you know who else here might have access to a military grade rifle?
I don't know. His friends have rifles. Maybe those psychos did it? Coalition military have rifles. I'm not a munitions expert, and I did not shoot him.
She might have been a tad disingenuous when she avoided talking about the bullet in his head before. Look who's waking up from 1,000 years of sleep.
Shin, you're getting a little antsy. Is something up? He's starting to spout off at all of them. Ooh. You lied to me about this bullet before when I said he was shot. You said you're confused.
I've said I'm sorry. What more do you want me to say? I did my best not to lie. It didn't always work.
Well, desires can drive people a little loco.
She simply shakes her head.
It is okay if you did it in self-defense as well.
I did not kill him to defend myself from rape. I told you before. That wasn't what happened.
All right.
Like
I'll answer
what?
some other questions. Could the people after you have killed him?
That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass break.
The volition roll is higher, too. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. Not the same for the other ones, but still.
I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week, I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone.
She looks at the cigarette.
So they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah, it also seems weird given how she described the people she worked with in Orange. It seems like they don't strike me as the type to send her a warning by shooting her lover. No, if they had bead on her, they would have just shot her. So I kind of agree. It probably didn't have anything to do specifically with her.
Or I don't know anything anymore. All I do is wait here.
We can't go after Loose Cap. Not yet. There are other, saner leads.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there.
Why did you call the cops if you're hiding?
Because I'm an idiot.
The answer comes fast.
Which is an indicator of truth, idiot. She's nothing of the sort.
So you would have us believe, but I don't think you are. I don't think so. Why did you do it?
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him.
Yeah, if she actually did care for him, then watching his body degrade and a obnoxious drug-fueled little delinquent throwing stones at him was probably not the best experience.
Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob. Once. Just one time.
He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud. Thud. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Ravishol.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
When was the window changed?
Last week. Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it.
You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there. Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye.
A real undertone of apathy in Martinez. I mean, as even Kim said, the district was essentially abandoned after the revolution, and even the RCM, after it was reestablished, really didn't bother dealing with Martinez.
She nods, silently. He's thinking, are we done here? Or maybe you should take her to the station for safekeeping. She lied to you, and she's a flight risk. No, that won't be necessary. Just leave her alone. She's been through enough. She doesn't need this police brutality. Multiface, I'm beginning to doubt your judgment. Are you sure you're not sleeping on the post? You have to wake this one up with force if you want to continue pushing her.
Interesting. Well, hold on. So we need volition for that. We need drama for that. Discussed secret route. The love that did him in. Clearly lied about the bullet. Interesting. Hold on. I do want to get the
As you look back, you think, so love did do him in, after all.
I was right.
If it weren't for her, he would not have been there. The shot would not have connected with his soft palate.
It killed him. Wait. No. When we were imagining what the man was saying, it was that love did him in, communism killed him. I guess love did him in after all.
She's silent, holding on to her coffee mug. No vapor rises from it. It's cold. Remember this silence. The lady is dangerous. People suffer around her.
Yeah. I'd like to think he didn't love me, or that it was chemically induced and not real.
Why would you want that?
Easier that way.
Was it real?
I don't know.
No. Communism killed him. Remember? Love made it possible. You know this much.
Then what is communism in this?
You do not know. A wind of needles. Airships flutter in the stratosphere.
How do I know all this then?
Who knows? It's getting cold out. You should go.
All right, we need to take a look at the window from the inside before we continue our discussion with her. He's a corporate merc, right? Would explain why a communist would kill him. The Hardy Boys aren't quite communist, but that every worker member of the board is a pretty communistic idea.
This window
except
is pristine
Everard
on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
Is that Everard has explicitly said that the Hardy Boys are the closest thing the Union has to a militant wing. So if they're not doing it, then who the fuck would in the Union? Like, even fucking Measurehead, who is just, you know, the fucking giant of a man, is much more of a defensive tool. Even he said it. He's the last line of defense for the harbor. He's not used offensively. Everett's actually being very smart in how he's running his strike. He's being very careful not to be seen as striking the first blow. He needs the corporation to strike first so that he can gain more sympathy, or potentially even more leverage against them. Honestly, he's playing it very smartly as far as a political angle goes. Now, to be fair, the union is, I think they said, made up of 2,000 workers, the union that they represent. It's possible there's somebody in there who's crazier, but it does seem weird that the Hardy Boys, if it was internal, you'd think that Everett would already have dispatched Titus and his goons to just find the guy who did it, bring him in, and make that person dis-a-fucking-peer. What happened here?
A vague sense of
come on.
disappointment fills you. The glass shimmers as if taunting you with its secret. You get the feeling this room would tell you something crucial if you only knew how to listen.
Tell me again, Kim, what are we looking for here? Ballistics?
I'm not exactly sure either, to be honest. My imagination has a way of failing me. It's a weakness.
God damn it. Are you kidding me? Fuck. I should have had these on. Fuck. God damn it. And of course you can't just, you can't reopen it with just that fuck. Fuck it.
This window is pristine on the inside. The golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed.
What position?
Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth. A ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain, ending him.
Where does it come from?
From the roof outside, location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back. The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Look at point A, the roof.
The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points.
If that was the case, shouldn't there be gun residue?
There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago.
So we're what, 80% sure the roof is where the shot was made from?
72%. With an antique weapon that fires military-grade ammunition. A Belmagrave rifle, for example. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium. A well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside, in the darkness. Too busy with their own bodies.
The shot have come from inside the room. Any chance of that?
Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, Detective.
Are there any arguments against the roof?
None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
Could the point of origin have been further away?
That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
Extrapolate the radius to include all of Martinez.
You would need a map for that. A map of Martinez.
Shit. Where the hell do I get one?
They have maps.
You're gonna have to do that first thing in the morning.
What if the shot didn't come from the roof, right?
Yeah.
Good. We should come back with the map and compare the landscape to the radius of the shot.
Fuck, the bookstore's closed already. Son of a bitch. We will continue our interrogation of Claude tomorrow morning then. Fuck. Now I want to see the skills all the characters in the game have. I mean, as I said, they seem to be, I think from what I remember reading from the developers, they wrote the characters as if all of them technically had this. Just with different levels and everything. Well, it's already late at night, so what other checks can we do before we head off to bed? Well, before we drop Kim off and then go get the, the armor. What else have we got? Determine where the shot came from. We need a map. Make Titus give up Ruby's location. I guess we could try that while we're here.
It's you again. What is it?
You don't want to try the drama volition checks on her? Given the fact that the game pointed out that I should check out the window, more than likely we'll get some kind of bonus or some kind of additional dialogue from her by doing that. Why is everything lagging on my end now? I can see it out of the corner of my eye. What the fuck is happening? We were doing fine earlier. What the fuck? Why the fuck am I lagging so badly? It wasn't doing this earlier, was it? What the hell? Hold on. I'm not running out of CPU or memory. Give me a second, guys. Let me just see if I can throw the RAM limiter on the browser to make sure it's not using up too much of that. Yep, force it down. There we go. Okay, that seems to have helped. No, now it's back. What the fuck? See, it's fine now when I'm not okay, that's weird. When I'm not clicked onto the main monitor for Disco Elysium, there's no lag. Like, there's nothing on my end that's causing a problem. The second I focus the game back onto it, VBridger and VTube Studio both start lagging. Like, massively on my end. Holy fuck. Yeah, and I can see it on the stream replay, so don't tell me... Yeah, don't tell me that it's not there. What the fuck? It was working fine earlier. What the hell? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me disconnect VBridger. Okay. Now we're gonna go back in, connect the iPhone. And it's lagging still a bit. I mean, it's not as bad, but I don't get why it's doing that. I do not understand for the life of me why it's doing that at all. Just random VBridger. Okay, hold on. Disconnect VBridger. Disconnect VBridger entirely. And now it's turned off all of my tracking. What the fuck? What the fuck? Now everything's turned on. What the hell? It's driving me nuts. I don't understand why it's doing this. It was working perfectly fine earlier. When I started upstream, I was having no issues. Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, whatever. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I talked to Plage. I need to talk to Ruby.
Why?
He leans back and regards you with curiosity. I've seen her in a laudanum-induced delirium. The paranormal instincts whisper her name in my ear. I need to pin this on someone. I've decided to pin it on her. I suspect she killed the victim. A civil war is brewing, and the only way to prevent it is to solve the murder. That means talking to Ruby. Yeah. This is a fight that's about to go down in your town, and I am trying to stop it, Titus. So how about you help me?
Sounds like you want to push this steaming pile of shit on anyone. And now you pick Ruby. Well, not on my watch you won't. Ruby's one of us. We're not gonna throw her under your moral intern steamroller. Fuck that shit.
And fuck you too, moral
He throws a glance at Titus as the last syllable leaves his lips, and the big guy sighs.
Ruby is missing. If you hide from the police in a murder investigation, you become a suspect. You know how it works, guys.
That's nothing. That's just legalese. You don't even have a sound theory. I don't want to be rude, but we're trying to get some R&R here. Think you could fuck off now?
I think we'll keep sticking around, Titus. You'll be surprised at how quickly a theory presents itself if you keep looking.
There we go. Found the key in the union box. Saw the winch outside. Staged like a play. Reconstructed the murder scene. Found antique rifle. Secret route found. Ruby is a drug trader. I swear to God, game. I swear to God.
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze. Floor plans, bullet trajectories, webs of human emotion, all channeled into a single thought.
Why are you so sure that Ruby didn't off me?
Because she was here all night with us.
He's cobbling together shit so he can put her away. It's Cop 101.
She was here all night? 11:30 to 12:15? She was here during all that time?
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
He points to the karaoke stage. She didn't go out for fresh air? For one smoke?
No.
In that whole 45-minute window, she was with you that entire time.
All right. She took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out too. She has an operation to run from her lorry. We're not getting into what that operation is again, Cop.
That's probably for the best. Don't break your stride now.
And just 'cause she was gone for 5 minutes doesn't mean she magically got to the roof and shot him. I've been through this. It's not plausible.
He's been through it. That means he's suspected her too.
Why do we have to talk with this grumpy fuck so much? Because he's quite literally, he is the local law enforcement. And unfortunately, it just so happens that there are clashing law enforcements now with us being.
All right, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof. You got his attention. Now don't ruin it by making weird claims. Remember, you can still mess this up.
There's a secret route in the kitchen that leads straight to the roof.
Oh.
Through what looks like an old abandoned pinball workshop.
People say there was a pinball arcade here, sometime before the hostel. What was it called, Theo?
Or reaching the roof's the hard part. My initial assumption was she had an accomplice. That could be possible, but again, we're operating under the assumption that either she had something to do with the murder or she had nothing to do with the murder. Not really sure either way.
East Delta Pinball Arcade. Weird place. Went bankrupt.
Okay, but how'd you get up? There's no room for a staircase in this building. Or an elevator, for that matter.
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down from the workshop.
One kid.
Thank you.
The lieutenant is glad he got the floor plan right there.
And from there, the door leads straight to the roof. You can just step outside.
Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down. All under 7 minutes.
That's quite the theory. We need to have a look at that secret passage, boys.
And also, don't forget, Lord Brown Bear, we're not trying to convince Titus that she did it. We're just trying to convince him that we have a reason to talk to her.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Angus are going up there.
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift. How about I go instead of...
Just now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it?
She could go to the pinball arcade, use the lift to spy on Claze, then maybe use the radio in her lorry to contact the shooter in a timely manner. Yeah, that could be possible. Oh, now the lag clears up. What? And then it's back, and then it's gone. I hate this fucking thing. God damn it. I did find footprints upstairs in the old workshop.
Footprints. Recent.
Recent, but I'll admit, they didn't fit with any of yours on the scene, Ruby included.
Goes against your little theory, doesn't it? Then again, I've known few people in my life who own more than one pair of boots, and occasionally do change them. Good news is, I'm still listening.
That key that I found here?
I don't like guessing, Cole. No one does.
It opens the steel door in the kitchen, the one that leads upstairs to the roof. This key was right here, with you, all the time.
Your men didn't find it, but that doesn't mean Ruby didn't. And that's how she could have gotten up there.
Quit jumping to conclusions, Theo. You took that key. Did it look like it was recently put there?
No, the ribbon was old. Faded. It'd have been there for 20 years at least.
She easily could have put it back there once she was done.
Why? This doesn't make sense. It's damn interesting, but it doesn't fit well, and you know it.
It doesn't fit well, but it fits, and he knows it.
Have you noticed the winch out back on the outer wall of the
I've
whirling?
seen the winch. I'm not blind. You saying it's part of the elevator she used to get up there?
That's right.
That's one mystery down then. An architectural mystery. Doesn't much concern Ruby, does it?
I'd say 1 in 4 are the last relevant questions. Yeah, because Sambo Artist just sounds weird and the pinball machines are completely irrelevant. So you do agree the shot came from the roof?
Why not? You can't draw a straight line into Clausia's window from any of the surrounding buildings. Not from what I know about Martinez. Maybe from the coast. But like I said, I've been too busy dealing with you idiots. So no, I don't think it was a sniper. It was close up.
Agree. About a 70% chance the bullet came from the roof.
72%. There's a percentage and all. Where'd you get it from? Your guys in the lab?
I analyzed it on the spot. Turns out I can do that.
No, you can't. I know what you did here on the weekend. People talk. And what they say doesn't sound like a science cob. You're a madman.
Those numbers were an ass pull, man.
Yeah, and they don't put her on the roof either. It's just mambo jumbo. He hasn't got shit.
Have we firmly established that Ruby could have had access to the roof where the man was shot?
Firmly doesn't go well with could've. There's a route to the roof. Me and the boys need to check it out. That's what we've established. But a route does not put that bullet in his head. A gun does that, and Ruby doesn't carry one.
Phase 2. Murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt. In the shape of a gun.
There are weapons like this just lying around Martinez.
That looks antique. A Belle McGrave. It's inoperable. Where'd you get it?
Cellar under the bookshop. All hidden there, with others just
20,
like it.
maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were too many. And there must be other caches too.
God damn it. We need to close that dump down for good.
Okay, I see your point. There are guns lying around. Damn it. I thought we'd found all the old spots. Why was that still there?
We just missed one. Ruby doesn't know this place, boss. Just these cops digging up shit.
Not say number 5. That is a bad idea. That is a quick way for Titus to immediately want to throw out everything we've told him. There's a small chance the shot came from beyond the roof.
Yes, goddammit, I know what a 72% chance means. It means there's a 28% chance it isn't that. And 28% is no small chance either.
Just making sure we are on the same page. It doesn't all fit. We are just sharing info, candidly.
We did get a look at the bullet that killed him. It was jacketed.
So
it had to come from a breech-loading rifle. Military grade. Not even you militia monkeys have those. This goes against your short-range theory. If the murder weapon was military grade, how did Ruby get it?
You just showed him a breech loading gun.
I just showed you a breech loader, and you even agreed there could be caches around here.
A broken old broomstick is what you showed me. But point taken.
For all his bravado, it seems Titus isn't dumb. He just isn't clever. Yeah, no. If anything, the line about the 72% and looking at the scene and the fact that he keeps going on about not being able to do his own investigation because he keeps having to lay low because the actual RCM are in the area, he probably has decent visual calculus and like encyclopedia. If anything, his lowest of his intellect scores is probably conceptualization and drama. Because even the lawyer was having to basically coach him his lines for the lie. He probably has very low drama, which makes sense. He doesn't strike me as a guy who's very big on trying to come up with things for lies. He seems very straightforward. And conceptualization is all about creativity, art in the world and stuff like that, which is not something that would be in his repertoire. But he probably has decent rhetoric, decent suggestion for wrangling his guys. He's got decent logic and decent visual calculus for actually working out crime scenes. part of his frustration is the fact that he wants to investigate this, but Everard has told him to stop because Everard doesn't want the Hardy Boys getting dragged down by the RCM.
Time to really close the deal. Show them the bullet.
The bullet that we found, 4.46 millimeter. Belle Margrave uses the same caliber, Titus.
The blonde man looks at the mushroomed Deathbringer in the evidence bag and says,
Yeah, the bitch is jacketed all right. 4 millimeter too.
Whoa. Well, goddamn. It's not proof, but it's a possible murder weapon. Close to her. Too damn close.
As I said, Titus and his boys make a lot more sense when you stop thinking of them as vigilantes and think of them as essentially rival cops.
You have been thorough. I'll give you that.
We've also established that Ruby's running drugs. I'm not talking about the drug trade overall, but that does mean she knows how to get things. She could have smuggled in a gun, too.
God damn. That's just about your favorite topic, isn't it? Every fucking 5 seconds.
you were warned not to bring it up. Your best shot here is to just back out of it.
Fine, fine. I won't get into it if it touches on your precious
Okay,
business.
cop. She's got connections. I could see how she could have access to a gun. That still doesn't mean she did.
That's all you needed. Doubt.
We are not saying number 5. Absolutely not. I didn't say I'd prove she had a murder weapon. Just that we need to find her.
All right. Keep talking. I'm getting a bit curious about some things myself.
Pete, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this. Why would she do something like this?
Phase 3. Motive. The last component. The big one. Get this and they'll give her to you. Remember, don't piss him off. That never works.
It's not why did she kill him. It's why did she organize the cover-up.
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
She could have been covering for herself.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it? The hanging. You went along, but she suggested it.
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
Really, Shanks? Claudia wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan if I'd have been first.
Time for a logics demonstration.
What do you mean by that, logic? Okay, hold on. Suggestion, Remember, don't piss him off. That never works. Okay, so I'm assuming number 3 is out then. She had like a fully formed plan, right when she comes back. Let's go with Shanky. Eugene seems a little more stable than Shanky. Shanky likes to talk a lot.
I didn't do it, fucker. It wasn't my plan.
You probably did, though.
It's just a thought experiment. Think, Shanky. You killed him. You got up there, shot him, cut down.
Would you prefer to go on trial with your buddies as part of a mob or alone for committing murder?
Fuck you, man. I would never fuck my guys over like that.
He squeaks with
She
indignation.
didn't either. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This is fucking stupid, Titus.
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left us in this shit.
Yep, because again, when you think of Titus more as a cop, he has esprit de corps too. It's just related to his guys, which means when Ruby skipped town, it's triggering a lot of his senses on something is up with this.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good.
Come on, Titus. Things don't add up. I'm not saying we're gonna take her in. I'm just saying we need to talk to her.
Silence. He looks around the room. The old man in the corner nods. A very small nod. And a trickle of tobacco spit on his lip. This is the only option he cares for.
And that makes sense. It was said Theo was the one who used to be in charge before Titus came along. It's very likely it's the same kind of thing. Less an officer, more a senior NCO.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. Ever since you asked me where she is. Add it to your list of suspicions. I don't know. I don't know where she went. She just got up and left. Got real scared, too. Wouldn't tell me where. However hard I asked. Want to know why? She was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now, I probably would.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior, why fleeing is always incriminatory.
Perhaps.
Got it.
Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy, though. She made sure of that.
When did she leave?
Friday afternoon, when you first arrived. I got word the RCM was in town. Then she came in to see me. Told me she was leaving. That's when we had our little conversation.
And what was she scared of?
I told you. You.
As in the RCM or person?
No, you. As in the cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes.
Oh, wait. That means she knew who I was personally. God, why does everything flee at the sight of my shadow?
It seems you have that effect. Especially on women.
Right. That's the second one now who's trying to flee you.
You know, when I first saw you limp in here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But now I'm not so sure.
It's probably the closest thing to a compliment Titus has given us in the entirety of our 2-day-long conversation with this man. She knows Harry, or maybe his rep. Yeah, I mean, Kim did imply that we were some kind of disco fucking cop, like people knew about us outside of District 41, so... What else did Ruby tell you about me?
She said you have a funny taste in clothes, and that you won't stop.
Won't stop?
Until you have something on her. She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener, that you play suspects against each other, open them up like cans.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it, whack him, or we can go on with our lives. I'm having a go on with our lives kind of day, Al. How about you?
It's not an actual question. Silence. He nods.
Is that true, Kim? Do you think I'm a can opener?
You are insistent.
Anything else?
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to. It was burning on her lips. This cop, Titus, this cop, he... But she was too scared.
I wonder if we've run into her before, like in a previous case or something. Do you have any clues on where Ruby went?
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take her lorry, so she's on foot.
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this place like the back of her hand. You'll never find her.
Yeah, Al. And we won't either.
She's not really a hardy candidate anymore, is she?
She's not, Glenn.
That's the one I think we need to keep an eye on because he's been insistently defending her this entire time. He might try something in the future. If she were a suspect, I imagine you would have you'd have bagged her. You must have bagged someone around her. Yeah, that could be it. Have you looked for
A
her?
little. On the coast.
Where have you looked for her, more precisely?
More precisely, on the coast, past the waterlock. She's not here, so I'm thinking she's there.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
But you all have been here. Who's out
Lizzie
looking?
needed some air.
So she didn't go to tell Everard.
No one goes to tell Everard anything. He knows what he has to know. Fast.
It's called a radio, you believe. The gardener may have played you a game when she stormed out. She has her own plan.
Do you have any idea on the coast where I could start looking?
Sure, there are some shit houses there. A cinder block town. The fisherfolk there refuse to unionize. So, that's one place we haven't looked. I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash. Time for you to step up.
We will start there. One more question. What does Ruby look like?
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a lorry man.
You know what she's doing with Ulan radio frequencies?
The what now? I have no idea. boys?
She said she's building a pale emitter.
What?
We were talking about radio equipment. She said she's doing Ulan frequencies and a pale something. I don't know more.
This guy barely understands what he's talking about.
There you have it. Pale something.
All right. It's not much, but it'll do.
Have to.
He puts out his hand. Shake
His
it.
grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. Not just granite, tightly packed RCM Sergeant material.
You should have been a cop, Titus.
When are you gonna get it through your suicidal head? I already am. I just wasn't sure you were.
And he still isn't. People aren't afraid of good cops in the way Ruby was afraid of you, he thinks, then turns back to his men.
Pale emitter. Given what the pale is in this setting, isn't that basically an Oblivion device? If the name is literal, then yes, but nothing about this game has been very literal, Lord Brownbear, so I'm doubting that it's that on the nose. Plus, the only person who had any idea about it was their radio specialist. So what would radio equipment have to do with the pale? Maybe instead of being a physical, like, Oblivion, it's, in the case of radios, maybe it's some kind of radio jamming or some kind of communications jamming equipment. That's the only thing I can think of. Ask about Ruby in the village. Determine where the shot came from. We need a map. Ask Claudia about Sunday night without Kim around. Ask the petanque player about the bells. Can't do anything about that right now. Get the 2 signatures for Everdart. We're going to close that. Find all the armor pieces. Get the boots. We are not doing Measurehead's quest. Fuck that. We can't do the wall just yet. We're still working on locating the weapon. Find the victim's process. Send the victims. Man, seeing your hypothesis while playing this game is very entertaining, but I'm afraid to say anything to not spoil. I know the broad strokes of the story, but I don't remember so well to have tidbits. I don't know if you were here when we first started playing Disco Flugel. I have played the first couple of days of this before, so I was aware of a good chunk of the story up to this point. But we are rapidly approaching the wall where I have no fucking clue what's going to happen next. And thank you. I do appreciate it. Please, no spoilers. I am enjoying everything I'm seeing in this game. Even the stuff that I've already seen, reanalyzing it now with a little bit more context is already very interesting. So I don't want anything if you can avoid it. Run the number on the victim's armor. Find the booze and drink it. Let me see here. Joyce has a check we can go with. Sileng has a check. The damaged ledger has a check. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about the damaged ledger. Oh, no. Don't unequip it.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's the ad. I'm going to run to the restroom real fast, and also I'm going to do a quick Google search and see if I can figure out why V-Bridger keeps frickin' lagging out of nowhere. One moment, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, I have no idea what I can do differently. Because I'm not seeing anything that, like, again, when I'm not on the game screen, everything works fine and there's no lag. It's just that the second that I refocus back on the Disco Elysium page, everything starts having issues with random lag spikes. The next faction, Endless Legend 2, gets a reveal tomorrow. Yes, I saw your mention of that in the Discord. I couldn't really tell anything from the silhouette, though. I couldn't really tell what was going on, unless it's, like, the tree people, maybe? All right, let's crack this thing open. We failed this check like 3 times already.
Yes,
Thank you.
at last, you find a way to piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. HDB 41, date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120117000, the next world mural.
Wait, HDB 41. Those were officer and precinct,
Why,
right?
yes, your precinct number is 41.
And HDB.
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
I don't know if VTubers do this, but a transition to your model in a mummified pose with wings spread and bug legs crossed would be cool for breaks. I mean, the problem is that the current model rigging, Flugel, is waist up only. I don't have any tracking or any toggles for anything below the waist, so that's kind of unfortunate. I do technically have this toggle. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to work properly. Where the pupils disappear that I was considering using for AFK stuff, but I usually just forget that it exists. You want they're very out there? Are they they're coral people, aren't they? Oh dear. Maybe he got it in one.
Harrier Dubois.
Yep.
HDB.
Okay, so we have the Next World Mural, the Unsolvable Case, the Square Bullet Hole Murders, the Couch in an Unexpected Location, and the Murder at the Hookah Parlor. I mean, let's go through them.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the Next World Mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
So this was literally just a graffiti case. Did we ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options.
If your partner's still in the rags? Is your partner still in the... Yeah, I mean, I think it's the dude that was sitting over here who was wearing the bad wig that we saw in the... who also perked up when we radioed into our station a few days ago. Oh, is he still in the rags, as in the whirling in rags? I don't know. I can't tell. They were over here. They might be gone by now because it is late. So hold on. Let me see here. Scroll back up. Appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower part of a failed real estate development. The mural is enormous. Two silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing, with the text reading, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class." I love how, like, oh, this is melancholy and, you know, interesting. And then, oh yeah, let's just throw in the communist propaganda at the bottom just to fuck people over. Could we just erase that? Could we keep the silhouette and the little poignant line and just erase this part and we can keep the rest of it? That would be nice. So get clogged with it. As the crew call it, remains unknown. The crew agrees to clean up themselves. Your partner is against the removal, citing public support. This leads to a debate, which then spread to the streets, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. Although the case began with what appears to be a lot of rumbling on the streets of how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice of 2 options. I mean, if our partner thought it was right, maybe we should go along with it. Keep the mural.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority. And that love truly is possible in the next world. For new people, and it is too late for us.
Very topical. What would otherwise be good melancholic art would just be a melancholic art piece ruined by a hard political statement. Yeah. All that remains is to wreak havoc on the middle class. No, the middle class are not to be blamed. It's human nature. I like it, but can we wreak havoc on other nations instead? I must have voted and possibly even lobbied to remove the thing because I don't believe in that rubbish one bit. The middle class are not to blame. It's human nature.
Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done?
The unsolvable case.
AKA Leslie and Burke. AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man. And you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
Couldn't we just keep them off the streets then?
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets?
Fair logic.
Threatening, fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years.
Contemplate the greatest RPG riddle. What can change the nature of a man?
It's plain to see from
if you're a DM can pull it off, that always does make for a really interesting story.
And Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Public indecency.
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. The officer is also drunk. way more drunk than Burke there. And let's be fair, you also have party eyes. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face, then proceed to beat him unconscious with it.
God, this board has managed to survive a lot. No wonder we were able to get it out of the trash, no
In
problem.
the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore, can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke, who knows, but both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved.
So we solved the case by literally breaking a man's kneecaps.
Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
Yeah, let's keep going. It's taking us all night, but fuck it, why not? The square bullet hole murders.
It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks on her rocking chair with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall.
Hell of an end to a case.
Agape.
It also kind of says something that you can tell there must have been a fairly long gap of time between that first case we read about with the mural and the second one with Burke and Leslie. Because in the first one, Harry doesn't, the way it's written, Harry doesn't have much of a say in the matter. He's just like, oh yeah, my partner was big about doing some local, trying to see what the locals thought of it, and I went along with it and everything. And then you get to the second case and it's, oh yeah, Harry has party eyes, he's drinking too heavily, and he broke a man's kneecaps and rendered him unable to walk. Okay, something happened between those two cases. At some point.
That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead.
The woman in the rocking chair was a flashback from Esprit de Corps. There was a woman in a rocking chair, but it didn't say anything about a bullet in her head. So I don't know if it's the same person. A lot of the Esprit de Corps stuff isn't necessarily flashbacks. They're side flashes. I think even the description says it. Yes, flash sideways scenes as they play out in your precinct. So it wasn't a flashback to our own case. It was a side flash to what another cop from Jamrock was dealing with at that exact moment.
Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day.
Oh, there's nothing else on that case. Interesting. So that one still we haven't been able to deal with. The couch in an unexpected location.
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. At an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it.
They looked like assholes.
Insufferable dicks. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it is. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank coffee because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved.
Did I ever catch those dicks?
No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next?
At the hookah parlor.
Murder. Tum-tum-tum. At the hookah parlor. Was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead. Of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor.
Wait, how did he die?
Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor.
All right. Get on with the murder then.
Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve. Was doing it solo. Said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister. Was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had.
Was Joseph Mills even a good cop?
No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about.
Go
Okay,
on.
so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day.
Sounds stupid.
Yeah. So anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there. Only client that day. In perfect health, too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters. No one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, blood everywhere. What happened? How can it be? Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Tables low, heavy, really sharp edge.
He sucked hookah, then stood up after hours, passed out, hit his head on the table, and died.
See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom.
Must have sucked a lot of it.
Yeah, he liked his hookah. Stephen was his name.
And what was he doing there for 6 hours?
Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was Murder at the Hookah Parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next, not
That's all of
much
them.
has changed in
All right. Oh, and we picked up our date of birth.
generator. You were born in the year 07, in the last year of the commune of Revachol, right before it fell, in the old military hospital on the ground floor, where people usually came to die during a snowstorm. The revolution had about 1 year left to go, and the fires were still burning bright. There were explosions in the blizzard. This was 44 years ago. You are 44 years old. The bloating might never leave your face, but beneath it, you still have some years. You still have some hope.
Learning cap for logic raised to 4. -1 difficulty to all physique passives. Oh, fuck yes. Nice. That is a good fucking check. It doesn't help us with the white and red checks, but anytime physique wants to pipe up during a conversation to add to the... Very nice. Not allowed to say anything. Tenwin, you're being a little circumspect. Methinks he might have hit pretty close to the mark there. I don't really like any of the rest of these. Regular law official is still interesting, but NDA is very tight. I'm not even allowed to say if it's good or bad. No, fair enough, Tenwin. I'm not asking you to break NDA. I'm not doing that. We will find out when it gets announced. All right, we need to go drop Kim off, which means we have to go over to the beach and deal with that. We have to go back over to the Martinez Inlet. Oh, forgot how fucking dark it is out here in the middle of the night. There we go. We go back to the shack, tell Kim that we're going to bed. He leaves. Then we come back here and we go get the body, go get the boots off the body in the cellar. And then when we're wrapped up tomorrow in day 4, we can tell Kim to take the body finally. And he will finally no longer be angry with us for having fucked up the autopsy well, we didn't fuck up the autopsy. The autopsy went great, but he'll no longer be as angry with us over everything else. Oh, wow, she's still awake. That's surprising. Yeah, Kim, I'm going to bed.
It's getting cold.
Good night,
Good night,
officer.
Kim. Was there anything else in here? There's the bed we can finish. There's that. There's the shaving, which I don't want to do. When he's gone, you can ask about the cryptids. Unfortunately, I think Lena also went to bed. She tends to go to bed earlier. Or you can forge signatures. Oh, right. Well, we'll do that when we come back. We have delayed this fucking... Oh. Seems the walker was either very confused or drunk out of his mind. Yes, those are our footprints, probably. Considering they come from the car. We can try to forge the signatures. Because we're gonna need to see what the check is for that. And we're gonna need to see... I think it was hand-eye coordination. Makes sense.
The bear's eyes are still glow. The body is reluctant to let go of the boots, as though it were its last bit of dignity. You're going to need to summon all your strength for this undertaking. Whatever you're planning to do, you need to do it before you catch pneumonia in the cold draft coming from deep inside the fridge. It feels like the leg is going to come off along with the boot, but you're able to get the boot to move a centimeter or two. It's not completely useless. You're able to reveal a little more of the putrid polymer sock beneath the boot.
Someone else has stolen the boots. God, I would lose my mind if that was the case.
Just relax. This is easy. This is happening. See? The corpse doesn't care if you try to take his boots. He doesn't need them. He's probably glad to get rid of them.
Just his seating position first.
He's too heavy to move by yourself. A great mass of dead muscles, with hoarfrost covering his milky eyes.
I don't like that there's actually been no check so far. That leads me to think something's gone wrong. Try to twist the boots off one by one.
This is the right method.
Hey, there we go.
It takes some time, but eventually the boots come off, with nasty slices of polymer sock stuck to even bigger pieces of skin and rotting flesh. Not good. Let's pin this on the bear. The ice bear tore up his legs with its claws. As for the boots, you can't possibly do anything with them until you've cleaned and disinfected them thoroughly. Yes, these absolutely need to be washed before. The stink is incredible. Didn't the Whirling have a kitchen?
Let's see. Oh god, don't smell these boots. Better yet, don't even think about them. Unless it's to think about how you're gonna get them clean, that is. For now, they're unsellable, unwearable, downright disgusting. Okay, let's get back to the whirling then while we can do that. I'm sure Gart won't mind if we just wash off human remains in his sink. Yeah, see, everybody left in the time that we took to go talk. I'm surprised these guys are still awake.
This industrial gas-powered stove has been used to prepare food for many hungry hostel guests. There are several pots and pans on hand.
They're interactable. Clearly, you should get a good sniff. I do not need to throw up again in this game, Lord Brownbear. No.
Getting the corpse residue out of these boots is going to require patience, and also a huge pot full of boiling water, soap, and white vinegar.
Check cleaning
supplies. There is a variety of soaps and bleaches in the cabinet to the left of the stove. There is also a bottle of white vinegar in the cabinet next to the fridge.
Everyone thinks it's Bloodborne 2 at first because the visuals are just... Oh yeah, I've already seen the comparisons, Tenwin. I've also seen the people screaming about it being an exclusive because, of course, this would happen with... First it happens with Bloodborne, now it happens with Bloodborne Spiritual Sequel. Thanks, fucking god damn it.
This is gonna take the hard stuff, too. Use as much as you can. It's bad with those boots. Don't be stingy now.
Pour lots of dish soap into the pot. Pour some dish soap and the bottle of white
The
vinegar.
delicious smells of cheap soap and vinegar waft up from the pot. All right now, chef. Light up the stove and boil them. A commercial pot draws your attention. It's very large, gigantic even. It could be used to make enough stew to feed an entire city, and also to boil a putrid pair of death boots.
It's a multiplayer PvPvE 8-player thing. Not sure about the details. Ugh, I'm not the biggest fan of FromSoft going in that direction, but that's just me.
Far away, in the darkness of a makeshift morgue, behind Station 41's Lazarus, Dr. Nix Gottlieb cuts into the cold, dead feet of a murder victim. The veins are oddly black. He suspects a neurotoxin.
Add water and the boots to the pot, bring it all to a nice
The strong smell of vinegar forces you to step away from the pot. The water slowly comes to a boil. Strips of polymer fabric and human tissue separate from the lining of the boots. They float to the bubbling surface.
Oh, God. Oh, beautiful, I suppose. Ugh.
A 2-course dinner of rotten flesh and hardened ceramic. The boots look cleaner and cleaner. Those bits of human flesh are beginning to look cooked. You can smell it too, just like beef stew.
Ugh.
That's it, chef. The boots are as clean as they're going to get. Steam, dense with the smell of strange meat, disappears into the vent above the stove.
Dump the socks in the stew and examine the boots.
A pair of real beauties. The boots are shiny, hot, and reek of vinegar. Just perfect.
Master Chef out. See here. Oh, right. I forgot about the pinball coat. M, knife locks blues, and +1 to hand-eye coordination. Oh, no description on that. Interesting. This dusty old coat used to belong to someone named M. Knife Locks. The name is stitched into the silk lining. It smells of moths and ancient engine grease, but fits you perfectly. A strange, lonely emotion fills you when you tighten the belt around your waist. Okay, that is very detective looking. I will give them that. And the Fairweather T500 Greaves, +2 to authority, -1 to composure. Put your foot down, shoes too big to fill. These greaves are light as a feather and just a tad too big for you, but don't let that bother you. With these on, you look like some kind of future warrior, and they'll keep you safe if you accidentally shoot yourself in the foot. So worth it. Ooh.
You look down at the white ceramic sabatons hugging your arches and calves, surprised at how well they fit. Your movements cause tiny little clicks, like dice rolling somewhere far away, as the plates reorient to your motions.
I need to be responsible with this. This is to protect me and Kim from harm, not to show
The
off.
hardened vitreous enamel, at once sleek and light, adds a glow to your cheeks and a spring to your step. Just imagine what a full suit of this stuff could do for you. You really do feel more confident. Invulnerability does that. Even partial invulnerability.
I want the full suit. This is the long sought after enemy technology. I can't just enjoy it. I must study it.
Remember, this is a highly specialized kinetic redistributor meant to stop bullets. Wear it. Observe its properties. See if there's a weakness in the design. For the day you have to fight someone covered in the same material.
Oh, now that sounds like something we need then. Savoir-faire, 3 hours and 30 minutes, -1. It really hurts to punch this armor. A sword wouldn't leave even a scratch. A bullet would bounce right off of it. There must be some kind of flaw in it that would allow you to stand your ground against this dangerous technology. You just have to figure out what it is. Maybe by beating yourself while wearing it, shooting yourself. Let's find out. Okay, our thought cabinet is almost full, but I want this. All right. I guess, Kim isn't here. Can we go talk to Claude, or is she already asleep? She's probably already asleep. Oh, no, wait. We might be able to talk to her then. Nope, she's not here. Maybe she has... Wait, so if she's not in her room, then... Okay, that might just be the game. I think that might just be some gameplay story segregation, where we're not meant to be in here anyways at this time. Alright, fine. Wait, can I... Since Kim isn't here...
This medicine cabinet is... There it is. The orange sun wearing blister pack.
No. I'm still gonna stand by it. No drugs, no alcohol. We're not doing that. So what else can we do before we go to bed tonight? Oh, wow, yeah, it gets dark in here. Why are you still here?
Hi again, Gendarme.
Oh.
Bye-bye,
okay.
Gendarme.
Bye. Don't know why you're still here, but okay. Alright, I don't think there's anything task-wise we can do. Salang's gone to sleep. Joyce doesn't talk to us with this one unless we have Kim with us. The cargo container door, we could potentially try again. Mirror, the trash compactor, that doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. We already did that one. She has a suggestion one. Hand-eye coordination in the wash bin, we don't want to do. Bar door, we bypassed. And Claze has a drama check. So we can't actually do anything, unfortunately. I think Claze had a check with a penalty. It wasn't that she had a check with a penalty. She has a check that we straight up cannot do while Kim is there. It's the, where is it? Ask Claze about Sunday night. That was the what? Yeah, when Kim is not around to stop you, ask Claze about it. So we can't even access that role until, we can't even access that role while he's around. Which is why I wanted to check to see if she was still there, but she was not. So in tomorrow night, when we need to send Kim away to deliver the body to the morgue before she goes to bed so that we can talk to her without him being there. Is Claze not on the roof right now? No, I literally just went to the roof and she wasn't there. Like, I did just check. She is not on the roof, unfortunately. Oh, no, this way. I'm surprised she's still awake. The kids are... I'm assuming your kids are asleep. Yeah, the door's closed for today. Time to put the kids to sleep. I don't think there was anything else here. Nope. Nope, there's just a bench and... Oh, can I pick up that... Hold on, can I pick up that tear? Or is that... I don't like that some... I can see bottles on the floor in some places, but some of them are not, like, you can't pick them up as tear for some reason. I don't know why. I really do wish the art design had been a little bit more consistent with that. But okay, I guess it's time just to... It's time to head in for the night then.
It's getting cold. This late in the night. Time to call it a day.
That was to shave, that was to...
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
I'll try and see if we can locate the source of the expression. What was that as a check for encyclopedia? Encyclopedia, mirror, formidable. What do we have on hand that can help with that? We have Megabino's prescription glasses, which helps. Empathy, hand-eye coordination, +1 to perception. Logic, drama. Logic, half-light, drama, physical instrument, logic. Conceptualization. Alright, that's all we've got. And I'd have to put a point in there. We only have 2, but we do have almost enough experience that if we pass this check... but do I want to use that then? Fuck it. We still have a backup point in case we run into a check that we really need to put a point into. I'm good with that.
An old mirror hangs on the wall.
Ugh, we still don't have that good of a chance. Really?
Adorned with the expression.
13. We have a... Yeah, we have a 5 right now. Yeah, -1 from thought because of the... Come on.
Like the rest
Damn.
of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past.
What skill do you need to forge the SIGs? Oh, God, you're right.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope.
Oh.
A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in
Okay,
the
hold on.
addendum.
Interfacing. Hold on. I'm getting +1 to interfacing from the yellow gardening gloves. I don't think we had anything else that added to interfacing, unfortunately. No, we just went through this. I didn't see any. This is... I mean, did it say it was a white check or a red check?
Take the legal documents out of the envelope.
Okay, this
the 12
is
to
a
40
red
month
check.
construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
72%. We get balls. We can't redo this. We can't redo this. If we fuck this up. Interfacing. Learn from skills. Bonus from items. Motoric bases +3. Ooh. Fuck. Fuck it. Go for it. 83% chance.
With a confident flourish, you complete your forgery. What do you see on the signature line?
Isabelle Sadie and Lillian Clark.
Indeed, they look distinctly different and very convincing. These might as well be their actual signatures.
Wait, did we want to fail
They're
this?
not. And the document will be nullified if they dispute it. That means Everard will have to start over. All you need to do now is mail the signatures to Everard's accountant in La Delta. There was a mail delivery box in the plaza, near the corner of the bookstore.
Oh, cool. So we can go do that now then. We'll go do that in the middle of the night as well. Well, hopefully this gets us enough enough XP to get leveled up. I could really use... it's nice to have an extra skill point in your back pocket for when things go bad. I've got a distinct feeling that the game is about to get a lot more difficult with its red checks. I love how you can deal with Everett via malicious compliance, and it's so fitting for someone like him, isn't it? All right, all the way around. Where's the mailbox? Where's the mailbox? There it is.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
I knew I'd get to use this mailbox for something.
Other than developing a personal relationship? Looks like you were right.
All right, drop the white envelope into the mailbox.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug, Everard. You know he's going to play you somehow.
So now, yep, let Everard know you mailed the signatures and we can get some more information out of him. Very nice. It occurs to me, do we have anything to sell? No, I want to keep that. The empty cassette tape can be sold. I want to keep the phone writer because we did buy it for luck. That goes to Renee. Banged up fuel canister. Price 11. I don't know how we would get any value out of that. We also have the postcards to sell. We do not want to sell the antique rifle. The production schedule. Oh, the phone. Didn't we get a note saying that there was a... Hold on. Where was it? It was the... Yeah, it was the handwritten note from the fridge that says something about another container in the basement containing another production schedule or something. Which I think was this thing? That's the only other interactable down
This
here.
orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand. You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to open it with a regular pry bar. You're just wasting your time. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand.
Equip the pry bar by go...
Yeah, I get that. Though, from what it said, it's not going to work anyways with the regular pry bar, so...
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has
maybe we'll get lucky.
Ice cream. The ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty well, but the lid simply won't budge. You see the pry bar's metal handle bending right before your very eyes. That's a good pry bar, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes an advanced tool to get it open, some kind of super pry bar. You have no idea where to get one. Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker.
That was worth a shot. You never know when you're going to roll double sixes after all. Sometimes the universe just gives you a lucky break, and sometimes it decides to say, fuck you, you had a 99% chance of getting it, and you still fail. I have enough money for right now. I don't want to sell anything in case it might be useful. I mean, I know the postcards aren't, but they also aren't worth very much, so it's not like we're in a hurry to sell them anyways. We just need to go to bed. It's 2 in the morning for Harry. He's used to being up this late, but not used to being up this late while sober. Let's get him back to bed, where our brain will probably give us another lecture of everything. Now that I think about it, if you're still awake, hold on. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Interesting. We don't know a good spot on the coast yet. Okay, so we'll hold off on doing that then. And apparently we need to ask it without Kim being there, because I know Kim gave a penalty to talking while she was there. Or while they were both there. Alright, it's time to go to bed.
It's getting cold.
Yes, time to call it a day. Alright, brain, what dark hellhole are you going to unleash upon me now? Go to sleep, Harrier. You can do this, Harry. Go to sleep.
Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
See, now there's no lag.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street. Recorded in you forever on Faraday.
Spinning in eternity.
On and on it goes for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars. Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time. The smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
Miss my wife. I mean, there was some kind of woman in Harry's past. Like, there was probably a wife, maybe a girlfriend, but probably a wife, and it did not turn out well.
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
Rain, snow. I don't want to. It can be beautiful.
Beautiful. It's stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images. You're the son of the world again. Harrier, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless keepsakes. Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
That's right. I am an agent of the world.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what brother man?
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles, doing your tasks, crossing names off lists, trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
Making progress. Steady progress. We'll get better.
There he goes again. He's a real political animal, our Harry. He still doesn't see that it's the world changing around him.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Why?
'Cause only love can break your heart. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the city. Go. Do it for the wind. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
It'd be hilarious if with the right skills you could just offer all the voices a throat lozenge and they speak normally. I mean, as far as we know, they are speaking normally. They're various tones of Harry's voice.
Good. You're up. Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
What?
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next?
Yeah, I can't imagine the narrator is Harry's voice, but I think limbic system and reptilian brain might be. I think reptilian brain is pretty close to Harry's natural voice. Limbic is closer to his voice when he gets high and like on drugs and he starts becoming, let's be very honest, more pathetic.
Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, things only seem to be getting worse.
What needs to be done?
You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité.
La responsabilité.
The most awesome, terrible thing. It is human nature to crave la responsabilité and to deny it. That's why it must be distributed across many different organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolios.
Something's been bothering you for a few days now. What is it? Why are you still wearing those gloves? I mean, they're +1 to interface. They're the only good gloves we have. The other one gives +1 to half light, I'm pretty sure, and we don't need that guy talking more. That and electrochemistry, both of them need to be very quiet. I thought I was assigning responsibility for a murder.
Harry, you're thinking about this too narrowly. La responsabilité isn't concerned with trivial questions like who killed who. It's about the real issues. The human welfare index, the price of staple goods, the transition to real democracy.
I'd give it to me. I'll accept responsibility.
Whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship. You can't simply seize la responsabilité for yourself. It must be given by a legitimate authority, like a committee.
And who would be sitting on this committee?
Only the most even-keeled minds in Martinez. Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. And, if necessary, you'll have the wisdom and expertise to assign it among yourselves.
And what happens once we've got it?
Most likely, your findings will be collected in a report, which will be carefully reviewed by your superiors. Once they've reviewed it, those same superiors will produce a set of recommendations to be taken up at the next meeting of the Standing Committee. Rest assured, no matter what happens, it will be done through the proper channels. Good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
Now, I'm kind of moving in the direction with the moral intern. As you kind of saw with that discussion, it was very much in their line of thinking. If only because it seems to be the only mindset that actually is going to get Harry out of his insanity. I'm not doing it for like the Revachol government or anything like that, or the moral intern or all that shit. It's because it's the only ideology that actually forces Harry to go, okay, I need to do better. And every other ideology just keeps trying to be like, no, 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 it's totally something else's fault. Whereas this is the only one that says, no, 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 Harry, you need to fucking do better. I don't know what's going to go on with the rest of it, but we'll find out. I've got to find a better hat. Dear God. Kim, we need to talk.
Yes?
I need to talk about responsibility.
I'm glad to hear it, Detective. I was wondering when we'd get to this very subject.
Good. We're on the same page.
If you
then.
ask me, it's high time for you to set aside these frivolous side tasks
and
focus 100% of your energies on the case before us.
Oh, poor Kim. We're about to derail this man's whole thought process. No, no, no. La responsabilité. You know, the kind that gets assigned.
Why are you pronouncing it like that gentleman from the Institute of Price Stabilité?
Harry's mind is like 4 horses trying to draw and quarter him. That's a surprisingly apropos description, Lord Brownbear. I like the mental image of that. It even fits between the four sets of stats. It's like each one of these sets is pulling in a completely different direction from the other 3. With perhaps the sole exception of Volition, who is desperately trying to keep this chucklefuck gaggle of skills from killing Harry.
You know what? Forget it. What specifically are you trying to assign responsibility for?
For my disaster of a life.
But isn't that your job?
I mean, yes, but apparently the game's not giving me that option.
No, I understand.
The lieutenant nods his head
Next, I
gravely.
suppose you're going to tell me you need to form a committee to assign this responsibility.
How did you know?
Simple. Because moral intern types love to form committees. In any event, I am just a humble law official. I may work under the moral intern's umbrella, but I'm certainly not qualified to serve on any committee. You know who might be, though? That Mr. Villeudran, the gentleman you met in the young man's apartment. If I were trying to get in touch with the coalition, I would start by seeking him out. But first, you might need to speak with his young companion. Now, was there anything...
Oh, never mind, Kim. I won't bug you with my insanity anymore. Let's go ahead and put that in. We don't need any of that. I wish we could sell these so I didn't have the temptation. Oh, it contains 10 bottles. We need to go turn that shit in. That's a whole $1. All right, we also need to turn in... Okay, why the fuck is the music getting loud again? It's a shame, because I do love the music. I do. I just wish that it wouldn't randomly decide to get about 3 times as loud as it was a moment before. Okay. Oi. No, no, no. Don't go looking at our shit. Hold on. This already... A bunch of juvenile delinquents standing around Kim's car. Sounds like this is a job for having the authority stuff on.
That's one brutal motor carriage.
Says the young man with piss F word written on his back.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
His companion wears a simple yet elegant slogan, "Fuck the world," upon his back.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Was it a good idea on the lieutenant's part to get into this? Don't even answer that. Just leave. You can always come back later, on your own terms.
We don't have time for this. Let's go. Yeah, walk away. But they know that we're watching them now. Okay, authority, you can be kind of fun when you're not having us put our own gun in our mouth. Okay, what did we need to do? Oh, right, we need to go talk to Evrart. We need to look... oh, right, we can talk to Renee. Renee.
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul, if he's got principles.
Kim's gun. Yes, true, Lord Brownbear. Not our gun, Kim's gun.
I prefer the old name, Insulindian Lily. Girls brought them to young cadets when they entered service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck.
So it's a royalist military tradition.
It used to be. But the communards were fond of them too. Call them revolutionary flowers. Bells of the revolution.
Did they bring you good luck?
You know what? No. They brought me misery, false hope, and disappointment. The revolutionaries sullied them.
You stirred up some bad memories there.
But it wasn't the revolutionaries that sullied the ID for you, was it? She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
Enough! I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston, but not while we have company. So, officers.
Maybells don't blossom yet, do they?
The lieutenant asked.
Maybe on some remote parts of the city they do. But I think you'll have to wait for at least a month.
Weird. So that flower was definitely preserved by somebody then. And just in time for the ad, we wrapped up that conversation. Very nice. Stretch time. Ooh. Ah. You all know the drill. Get a snack, get a drink, use the restroom, whatever you need to do. We'll be right back as soon as the ad is over. Thanks for being here, guys. Between the flower and the antique gun, it really seems like the shooter must be an old war dog. Well, to be fair, we found the flower next to Claget up on the rooftop, so it might have been something that she kept. And she did say that she had been there for a few months. So I don't know if the flower necessarily goes along with it, but the fact that it has connected ties to both Revachel's royal past and its communist past, I do think you're right that it's someone older. I do think an old war dog maybe could just be someone from that age bracket who lived through the communist revolution of their time. It's hard to tell. All right, we've only got a few seconds before the ad's done. So, oh, right, we need to get a map. The bookstore. Map. I need a map.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
We're probably just gonna have to look around then if she doesn't have dialogue for it. Are you doing okay in here now?
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework. I have so much homework now.
You just can't win. Out of the rain and into the gutter.
What are you doing now?
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really.
They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold, I guess. Oh, I found something while you were away.
What is it?
I thought this would fit you. Like,
Hey,
thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does.
Aw, she gives you a hat, almost exactly like the one that Dick Mullen wears on the covers of the books. A detective hat.
Just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now. Before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
Hey, +1 to encyclopedia. Oh, there we go. There we go. I get some black gloves. We'll look like a proper fucking detective now. The apartment had a commie tenant. Could its roof be a good vantage point? I don't think so, because the tenant building is to the north of where Clage's roof is. They would have a good shot if they had been out on the balcony, but they weren't. They were inside of the room just off to the side. They wouldn't have a shot on that given where he was located. The shot had to have come from somewhere off to the east, or the west, sorry. Is there something up here maybe? Bookshelf. Maybe that's a map. Oh, what? Yep, what was that? Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Oh, right, because one of the books was like fascist magic. It's so fucking stupid. It's also too close. For no one to have heard the shot. Yeah.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Map of Martinez. This could work, maybe.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozon, Laurentide, Fas a la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands. All just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you, radiating outwards from you, the suzerain Revachol. With a radius of 80 kilometers, still, the crown jewel of this Isola would be barely visible.
Can you see cities on the
You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas, lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called, connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. 850 million people live on these tiny dots. An oceanic world of culture and commerce. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East.
And west of the river?
Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad, and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is, north of Jamrock, The strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, Coal City is worse. A charred limb. Rain falls on its slick black streets. And then there's the burnt-out quarter in the heart of Jamrock. Is it cold in this bookstore? Or is it just you? No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world. You're still alive.
Okay, now look at the map of
It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbour, even the whirling in rags there.
Hey, shopkeep, I want to buy the map of Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
A worn and torn map of the Martinez area dating from 48. The title on the top reads, Bienvenue à Revachol. It's a bit out of date, but it was originally created by a design studio in a failed attempt to spruce up Martinez and turn it into a fancy tourist
The
location.
worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
Trace a path through the
Your
grid.
finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the map tab.
Oh, and it actually, okay, and it actually puts the, yeah, like Sleeping Dock Worker's gone, Renee standing out there, tell me the home, Fisherman Shacks, the church. Martinez District in the Jamrock quarter of the Revachol Zone of Control. Interesting. Cargo container door. So we can't travel or anything, we just have to go there manually from the looks of it. But now we have the map. Now we can go back and do that visual calculus check. And we do have a backup skill point again. Thank God.
The theme on that pinball machine is a standard royalist theme, used on everything from pinball cabinets to full-flavor cigarettes.
What are its hallmarks?
Clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers and homosexuals. Basically, imagine a yellow plastic crown with a liquor brand emblazoned on it.
I think I'd rather know more about the world of today.
The contemporary period stands still. The fated carousel of progress that doomed the royalists is itself winding down. Our time is decelerating into what no one knows.
Yeah, this guy's still here.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
Shakes his head. Looks like he's really having trouble believing this shit. That fucking check is still locked because we should have gotten that one. We have a good esprit de corps check and we still couldn't get it. That sucks. Let's try this again.
The same two neon-lit shapes.
Yep.
A man.
Extrapolate the radius to include all of Martinez.
According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime.
Failing checks you're good at sucks, but it can always happen. I know. I'm just having to get used to, I'm having to get used to not save scumming. You know, I've complained about it before. You know me. It's part of the reason I'm doing this on stream. So, okay, so yeah, because the tenement is to the north. The doomed commercial area almost cuts off some lines of approach, but portions of the coast line up with aiming into the building, as well as slightly further to the northwest rather than just straight west.
B prime for Boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the Islet detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on.
Start with the boardwalk.
700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
Boardwalks here. He could have gotten on top of a roof. It's possible he also could have made the shot from that industrial building we were told about in the coastline as well. Or maybe from the top of the church tower. What about Land's End?
1.2 kilometers away. The least likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it. Possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
No, he's got a point there. You need some kind of elevation in order to properly manage the shot. Because trying to aim up and a kilometer away would have been nearly impossible. At that point, it would have been more a fluke that he hit anything than anything else. What about the islet? That's
1 kilometer away. A point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea. As you saw in the coin-operated viewer, the shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable.
Waiting for a perfect moment may have taken a long time, maybe. After narrowing it down, all you need is to find traces of a sniper's nest. There's also the fact that from what Claude said, her and this guy were coming back up to her room to have sex and do drugs fairly frequently. If he set up at B triple prime, or even B prime, he might have been sighting in on them for days before taking the shot, figuring out what their routines were. Though again, that begs the question, he couldn't have been targeting Claude because if that was the case, he would have taken the shot on her. So then why did he target him, unless it's related to the strike? Kim, do you think the shot could have come from further than the roof? Further out in Martinique?
From where, precisely?
Let's say the boardwalk, Land's End, or the islet.
I see you have given this a lot of thought. Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance?
It's less than the roof, but still.
Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one. It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. It fits the hidden path through the whirling. A simple hypothesis.
I mean, it's good to keep in mind, but it doesn't explain why no one heard the shot. All right. Let's talk to Plage again. If I remember correctly, her first check was the one that's still unlocked is a drama check, which fortunately, we actually have a lot of shit that adds to drama. So we're going to put on the mesh shirt. We're going to put on the party silk robe. Oh, God. We're going to put on the stupid bow tie. What is this, a neck? Yep. Do we have anything else that adds to drama? I'm going to have to check here. Oh, God. That's a minus to drama. We don't want that. That's logic. Oh, God. The Hugh Hefner trip. Look at this shit. Yeah, +1 to drama, +2 to drama. Nothing is taking away from it, I don't think. All right. Oh, my God.
Hello, officer. What brings you up here again?
Clearly lied about the bullet. Love that did him in, discussing your route. In God's name, wake up, drama.
But we are awake, sire. She has been forthcoming with sordid details women usually conceal. Most shocking details of the sexual kind. We are a bulwark, unbreached. Get a hold of yourself just once, will you? Try to look past the sexually lax morals and do some police work. So you say. But give us one example of deceit. Just one example.
No, it wasn't Snake Eyes, but it was damn close. We missed it by 1. We rolled a 3 out of 2d6. We needed a 4 or higher. That's all we needed. God damn. Fuck. She was confused when I asked about the bullet in the head. That was a lie.
Ladyfolk do not know of such things, ballistics and weapons of war. She is too young and frail.
Okay, drama is fully compromised apparently right now.
You should stop staring at her and say something. This is costing you credibility and power in her eyes. It looks like this one's not waking up. You'll have to do it without pushing her further. At least for now.
Okay, we need to go do other tasks. I need to get more skill points apparently because fuck me. God damn. Put those back on. Put the RCM commander's jacket back on. Which shirt were we wearing? Plus one to suggestion, plus one to logic. Do with the logic one. Put our tie back on. Is that everything? I think so. Give me the visual calculus glasses for right now. Okay, I guess we'll go talk to Everard because we're in town right now. God damn it, game. Come on, open the door. Come on, Harry. Go. Need to talk to any of you. Didn't Kim suggest talking to this guy?
Hi again, Gendarme.
Oh, I need to talk to your Sunday friend. It's about committee business.
Oh, a committee. How interesting. And if I may ask, Gendarme, what is this committee about?
He takes a measured drag of his
He's
cigarette.
all bemused skepticism. He doesn't actually care what you want with his friend.
I'm not really sure, but it's about trying to reach a higher
Sounds
authority.
like a bore, frankly. All the fun stuff's down here. In any case, I would love to help. But the thing is, I don't know where he is. We don't talk about everything, you see. He might have mentioned something about making a tour of some historical sites up the coast. In an unofficial capacity, of course.
Well, I guess I'll look for him on the coast.
Guess you will.
Don't have
Bye-bye,
anything there.
Gendarme.
Still haven't found your husband, sorry.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Oh, could you tell me more about this rare insect that your husband's
Oh,
looking for?
sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
No, Kim. Kim, it's fine. It's fine. We haven't talked to her in like 2 days. We can talk about one insect.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but
Ah yes, Phasmatodea, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of thing. Ghost insects, colloquial. Oh yeah, here comes the interesting.
where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the Insulindian coast, hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officers.
He looks you in the eye and nods thoughtfully.
There's a touch of awe in the way she enunciated the creature's name.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
Oh, calm down, Kim.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you.
There's a hint of defensiveness to her retort, but also confidence. She seems to sit up a little straighter in her chair.
It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all.
And what makes you think the phasmid is here?
Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like the reeds. Gary sent us the clipping.
So a newspaper clipping is all the evidence you have?
Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulindian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at.
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes sparkle behind her glasses.
You seem really excited for this one.
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insulindian phasmid. All scientists have their little hobby horses.
Does it have anything cool, powers, aside from disguising itself as a reed?
Yes, It can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even.
So is it dangerous?
Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully?
Is it valuable?
Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie.
Okay, but then what's so special about this stick bug?
Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special.
The woman's face flushes with embarrassment.
Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about?
Still, we'll keep it to one, Kim. We'll keep it just to one. What's the most dangerous cryptid?
The gnome of Jeroma.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Oh, it is. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
And what does this cryptid look like?
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
Doesn't gnomes deep into the Roman mythology? I think it might have been a reference to its size, not necessarily it being a mythological creature.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of these very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
It does seem a little convenient that it disappeared and nothing like it was seen again.
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
Okay, well, I know Kim gave our permission, but we'll keep it to one a day. That way we don't annoy him.
Of course, dear.
Don't worry. I'll try to actually find your husband today. Not this stream, though. This stream is almost over. But definitely today. It is day 4. Surely we'll make more progress than we did yesterday, running up and down the fucking stairs at the Whirling in Rags for 10 hours. Oh. 3 T's. How idiomatic. Huh. You could also just ask when he leaves. That's true. Well, yeah, but Kim actually seemed like he was there. Yellow rose in the windows. Those aren't the flowers that were left from Plaza. Oh, okay. So we can rule out that anyone got them from here.
The Tamish, your bottles,
Nope.
do you know what you should do?
No. Go away, electrochemistry. Your advice is horrible. 95% of the time, your advice is horrible. Don't need to talk to you. Ugh, I just wish Everard wasn't so fucking far away. Come on, down the stairs. I guess we could try this check again. Didn't it say we could re-roll this one?
You're back before the cargo container.
Yes.
Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If
Predicate
anything,
thorough,
it
been
seems
in the
to
world
have
for 2
grown
days, been in this world for many days, precarious world, +1 for the dice set. Hold on, what do we have for... Wait, which one is it asking for? Rhetoric, that's it. Let me see here. We're not taking any penalties to rhetoric right now. I don't think we have any actual rhetoric items, though, unfortunately. Trauma, logic, composure, perception. Yeah, no, that just is a minus to rhetoric. That doesn't help us. Okay, well, we may as well try.
You're back before the cargo container. And
nope.
As it's always been.
God damn it. need some items that give bonuses to rhetoric. We've run into a lot of rhetoric checks that I've had nothing with the ability to work with. Come on, into the container. All right, Everard, you fat dick.
Mr. Dubois,
there
a
we go.
pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
There it is. Mailed the signatures.
The
Can we
Golden
talk?
Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and I feel I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
See? Forging that signature really paid off.
Let's clarify one thing, Mr. Everard. Did you order the hangman killed?
Order it? You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that.
And what would you gain from him being dead?
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
Okay, so Everard didn't want the man dead, but now that the man is dead, he's going to take full advantage of it. Does Everard Clare have a lazy eye? That seems to be the implication with the way he's drawn, but it's hard to tell. His portrait is purposely, like, off. Kind of how everyone's portrait is a little off. Wild Pines has trained military mercenaries. Aren't you afraid for your people?
Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
And how is this connected with the strike?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war, or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait, is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that.
Okay, so Everett's a true believer.
We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people. And fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance.
What?
Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying.
Actually, no, it's not.
Thank you, Rhetoric. Why are you telling me all this?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening.
How many of you guys are there in the union?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol. And they're all well motivated, at least the ones you've seen.
And how are you going to fund your independent harbor?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
You can't possibly hope to continue like you have. The clients will leave en masse.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
That's only the tip of the iceberg, though, isn't it, Mr. Ebra?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
That's a stretch. He sounds a bit delusional. As I said, Tenwin, he's a true believer from the sound of it. We are looking at a communist revolutionary who honestly thinks he is laying the bedrock and the building blocks for the next communist revolution.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored. And risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned.
Actually, Kim, he might have us there because Titus has explicitly said that they don't let that stuff happen in Martinez. So again, Everard and them are more than willing to supply the gangs and groups elsewhere in the city, as long as it doesn't come back to them.
But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
Is this Ruby lady helping you secure this fantastic share?
Harry, if I was supplying raw materials to drug manufacturers, I would need an army of rubies.
Understood.
Yes, except we know that Ruby's running an entire ring with other lorry drivers, so technically she already is. I have to admit, it's a surprisingly well put together plan and a bit far removed from you.
It's also far removed from my men and the people of Martinez who've put their trust in me. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez.
It would still be illegal.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm going to unite them all into one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's going to be in on the wealth, and everyone's going to pull their weight.
None of these options are good. Can we please go back to the murder investigation? I'm really disliking this political talk.
Harry, the length you're willing to go to keep your nose clean is remarkable. You will always have a warm bed in Mr. Clare's household, my friend, and a special place in the future of Martinez.
Do you know who killed the hanged man?
No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a big fat kiss from Everard Clare. Couldn't have done it without him.
A guy, huh?
How do you know it's a guy?
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know.
The signatures that I got for you. That plan is to force those people out with the construction.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
You were there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it.
Ah, yes. It's all for the workers until some of those workers get in your way, and then it's the exact same playbook as everybody else.
Reset. I have big plans for Martinez. And they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
What do you mean?
Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex. Employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Getting awfully red in here. Oh no, what was your first clue, Lord Brown Bear? A youth supermarket church complex. You really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that.
I would say what I really think, but then you might have to ban me. Well, again, as even empathy is pointing out here, I have no doubt that Everett Clare does have, like, he is a local Martinez person. I absolutely believe him when he says that this place has gone to shit and he is going to do whatever it takes to get it better. He's just going to go about it in the same underhanded, duplicitous, and corrupt way that everyone else has fucked Martinez in the same way. Which means in the end, he'll do the same thing to anyone he feels he needs to for that same reason. I can almost hear the male choir in the background. Yeah. I knew you were up to something.
Damn right I'm up to something, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
A true flash of anger in him as he thinks of her.
I don't suppose you have any information on my gun.
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done.
Where is it?
An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
So the gun's still with the woman who bought it from the pawn shop?
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway.
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Who's this old woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The Pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
It actually sounds extremely bad, but let's not give him the satisfaction.
He was waving it at people.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
Can you set up a meeting?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
Okay, so we don't want to send Kim away tonight. Fuck. Because we do not want to go into this situation without backup.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Can I ask you about specific
We're
union
way
members?
past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This, has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
I don't want to give him anything else from this. It's bad enough what we've had to deal with him. I am now very glad that we forged those signatures, because fuck you. I also, funnily enough, I don't think it's a good idea to tell Joyce about this. Not because of her. I think Joyce understands the severity of the situation. The problem is she would report this to her superiors, and her superiors, learning about what Everard has planned, would probably give the go-ahead for the PMCs to just tear this place apart. Even if Joyce was telling them not to do that, they wouldn't care at that point. And unlike Everard, I don't think his boys can handle this shit. I don't think they can handle it at all. In fact, it just occurred to me, we know that this guy's probably in on it, but it occurred to me, there's all these people who came in to try and work the harbor that are being kept out. The PMC could have easily slipped other members of their organization in with the scabs in order to get more people on the ground. Automatic weapons be like that? Well, the other thing as well is this. The way this armor is described, and even the way it looks, let's be honest, I like the Union does have guns. They do have some pistols, maybe a few small rifles, probably shotguns. Those are very common in these kind of situations. But this armor, the way it's described, the way it's been described, the way that our own brain is trying to rack how in the hell you'd even break it, I have a feeling that this armor can just shrug off most small arms fire without a single fucking problem. We need to talk to Alice too,
Inside,
by the way.
You see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the armored boost?
It took some convincing, but I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready?
The lieutenant leans in to listen.
Shoot.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Ellis Kortenaer. That's E-L-L-I-S K-O-R-T-E-N-A-I-R. Exact date of birth, unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February, 09.
Neonatal Care Unit?
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2.
According to Klasia, Lele said his real name wasn't really his. Perhaps that's because he was fostered.
This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the Eastbrand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol.
He was found in a leaf compactor?
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Any information on his foster parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So all we have to connect him to Krenel is the armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
No problem, Lieutenant.
A compliment from Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Not bad.
Well, at least we have his name and service right
The name. This is very good. Ellis Kortenaer.
Sometimes police work is about human dignity. About giving back names to anonymous victims.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions? 57,
that's all.
over and out.
In the cabin.
All right. Maybe that'll help us with Klage later by actually knowing his real name. Okay, so... Smokers is subject for control on the coast. Wait at 2200. Boardwalk. Find all the armor pieces. Working firearms. Send the victim's body to processing. Still working on that. God damn it. All right, let's get back out to the coast. Come on, down the stairs. maybe you could handle the old lady on your own. I would really like to avoid it. That sounds like it's not just a storyline case of things. Like, there are a lot of conversations where you would lose out a lot by not having Kim there. But this also just sounds like what cop would go into a situation like that without backup? That just sounds like a recipe for fucking disaster. I don't know what else we've got over here, though. We've got a lot of oh, why does it do that? Does that just mean I'm not passing a passive check for this area? I guess that must be what it means. Let's follow the industrial runoff over here. There's a recipe for disaster. Harry is the main ingredient. Not wrong. Definitely not wrong. Oh, there's stuff up there. Oh, whoa, whoa, what was that? What was that? Ah! I hate it when I miss things. Oh. Hey, some change. Thank you. No boat in the boathouse. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Hey, savoir-faire and minus on the visual calculus. I mean, we do have decent visual calculus, and the best thing is visual calculus doesn't have any passive checks. It usually shows up as a very active check, so we have time to take these off. Oversized superstar sunglasses. Dazzling reflexes, -1 for visual calculus, the mirror lies. Is your own stardom too dazzling for your eyes? Can't bear to look at your own fabulous reflection in the mirror? Then these classic oversized sunglasses are for you. Can't really see them because of the hat, but... yeah, no, that kind of fits for Harry. Let's go ahead and put those boots back on. What have we got? Boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. Some more change. What is it? I don't like it when it does that. Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of the shedded bench covered in rust. Sign says, Entrée interdite. An old ticket taker booth no longer in operation. Can we get over there? There. Oh, we gotta go all the way around. Okay. Alright, some more tear, some money. More tear. There's a dude over there, but hold on. What is this? Oh. People paid money to park here? No one would pay now.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Oh, visual calculus. Hold on. Hold the phone. Go. That gets us a +2. I don't think we had anything else for visual calculus. Drama. Logic. Drama. 3 to 4. Suggestion. Conceptualization. No, we don't have anything.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall.
Even more bullet holes.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez's sense. Grim affairs. Meaning this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
Why not?
The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
Why this many bullet holes?
A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall.
Oh.
There are many of them. A dozen at least. Their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound. No movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The morning sun rises beyond the horizon, radiating the first light of the day. The order was carried out at dawn. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
What is this?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations. As demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes, they stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Who were they?
Leeches, fleas, and thieves, all the freeloader scum living off the hard work of others. Such is your belief.
Whoa. That's the most, like, moralizing, one way or the other, that Esprit de Corps has been this entire time.
Maybe you should change it. They were praying, screaming.
What about the line of soldiers?
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one?
And who was standing to the side?
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Him. Who was who in this execution?
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces. It could even have been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries.
Or maybe...
You mentioned coalition forces. Could they have been put against the wall?
Yeah. It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures. Behind this building, the other one, once filled with engineers and designers of Feld Electric, now collapsed and dead, but for some rats. You feel drawn, for some reason, to the faded mural again.
I mean, honestly...
A row of ghostly shades
is it just
facing
gonna...
a crumbling wall.
I mean, it said we were drawn to it again, so I thought there might have been...
behind this building.
Okay, so there's something in the building, is what Shivers is trying to tell us. My best guess is Kim's most likely has the right of it. It was either the employees of the building who refused to sign up with the communists and were then lined up and killed, or it's the communists at the end of the revolution. The coalition forces landed, take the position. They don't have the resources to handle all prisoners. Since they're the vanguard, they probably don't have all the logistical structures in place for prisoners while they're moving inland. So much like American and British paratroopers during World War II, they couldn't take prisoners, and they didn't have the ability to hold on to them or let them go. So we all know how that ends. There's alcohol. Oh, is that the guy from before? Hold on, we'll talk to you in a second. There's more shit over here. Door is not only barred shut, it is inaccessible. Hey, found Peepo Peepo. What the fuck is that? There we go. The small wire framing inside this futuristic found Peepo hat gives it the aerodynamic shape of a swoop skier's helmet, but none of the protective quality. Covers the wearer's ears and eyebrows to bring down the drag coefficient. Oh, okay. +2 to logic, ultimate peak focus, -1 to perception, eyes on the road. Okay. A door, a building, a hiding place. Could the instigator be inside? Doesn't appear to be anything else here. You look far too well dressed for this place.
As you approach, the man turns and greets you with a polite wave. He appears completely at ease, like a common holidaymaker.
Ah, super. It's the officer. I was not expecting to run into you again, but things have a funny way of turning out, no? What brings you down to the scenic Martinez coast?
I was somewhat wondering what you're doing here.
Well, that's très simple. I was visiting the fishing village just north of here. They have applied for a series of microloans to revitalize the old market. And well, I wish to see the situation firsthand. And then, well, I had some extra time on my hands, so I decided to stroll down here. It's quite peaceful, isn't it?
You do know there was a mass execution right over there.
Really? Here? How can you be sure?
It's sort of a gift I have. I can reconstruct things that happened in the past. High-end detective stuff.
Ah, a very useful gift for a police detective, I'm sure. Fascinating how much history is contained right here. If only one knows where to look for it.
You feel like there's something you could say here. If only you really knew what was going on.
There was something else I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm all ears, officer.
I need your help forming a committee to assign la
My
responsabilité.
friend, if it's la responsabilité you're after, I have good news for you. There's no need to form such a committee, because it already exists.
God, of course it does. These moral intern types.
The Comité de Responsabilité de Revachol. It acts as a sort of clearinghouse for coalition activities. To put it simply, they are the ultimate arbiters of la responsabilité in this part of the world.
Yes, this is just the sort of reasonable authority you're looking for.
I would offer to connect you with the committee myself, but alas, I am not actually in Martinez.
What? Where is he then? He's speaking figuratively. He means he's not in Martinez in his official capacity.
I get it. You're only here on personal business.
Précisément. Officially, I am still in La Delta, preparing for an upcoming conference on fuel oil derivatives. That's why it would be extremely irregular, or potentially even inappropriate for me to intercede with the committee concerning a district I'm not officially in.
And the ad's playing. All right. We'll let the ad play, then we'll keep going for a little bit longer, and then I'll have to wrap up for the day. I'm not the biggest fan of this quest putting us in contact with this guy again, but again, the other fucking political ideologies just are literally tearing Harry apart, or tearing apart everything else around him, and this is the only one that might actually force him to shape up a little bit. And that is what we're trying to do. Oh, good. We've got a nice stockpile of skill points now. What about Friday? I still don't know. I'm probably going to figure it out tomorrow. Part of me, again, is leaning towards Shadowrun, just because I could really use a nice traditional CRPG, and it's not that long. At least I don't think it's that long. I imagine Shadowrun Hong Kong is the Shadowrun or Shadowfall. I can't actually remember. Shadowrun, isn't it? My brain. Whatever. It should be about the same length as the two previous titles in Harebrained Schemes entries, so hopefully that will go well. It shouldn't take too long. Again, I'm hoping to get some kind of update on what's going on with Baldur's Gate. I really want to start that. But yeah, I think we might start that on Friday. Get a slightly more traditional CRPG experience going with everything. I think that would be good. But yeah, it's still playing. We got a minute and a half left. I'm wondering if we need we have a little bit of empathy. We got that. We've mainly been avoiding down here. We might need to put points in physical instrument at some point, since it might be good to actually have a few. Like, I don't know. The game seems to be implying that things are going to get more dangerous going forward, between Everett setting things up, the mercenaries being around. I'm wondering if it's a case where it's like, oh yeah, like pain threshold, physical instrument, half-light, these aren't very important checks until they suddenly very much are. Savoir-faire is also a good one. Sneak under their noses, stun with immense panache. That would also be good. We are taking a -1 from that, though. I don't know. 30 more seconds on the ad. We know we need a little bit more volition to deal with Laget. We need some more drama to deal with Laget because, of course we do. 92% chance my ass. We definitely don't need more perception. We definitely don't need any more fucking perception. Interfacing we should be good on. Composure, hopefully we're good for a while. Knowing my luck, we're probably going to need suggestion at some point as well. Oh, ad's over. How am I supposed to contact them then?
Well, under ordinary circumstances, the committee contacts you.
In other words, the committee only knows what it wants to know.
But if you have information of a vital interest, they might be willing to entertain an exception. In which case, I would advise you to contact them via Coalition Warship Archer.
Why would I need to go through a warship to speak with them?
You see, in addition to being an airborne artillery platform, Coalition Warship Archer is also the linchpin of the Coalition's surveillance and communications infrastructure in Revachol.
It's watching us.
And listening. It has the most objective vantage point in the entire city. Not to mention a vast array of radio, photographic, and meteorological monitoring instruments. I find it a great comfort to know there are benevolent powers watching over all, in strict accordance with the Wayfarer Act and the Bristol-Mune Conventions.
How would one go about contacting a coalition warship?
This is quite the problem. Very tricky. Of course, the Archer has orders to fire on any unidentified aerostatics that might approach it, so it might be safer to get in touch from the ground. But in that case, you would require a radio transmitter capable of broadcasting on coalition frequencies. And that kind of technology naturally isn't typically available for non-coalition use. Yes, it is a bit of a conundrum. I suppose there might be some way to circuit bend your way onto those frequencies, but you'd have to be one of those techno-tinkerers to do it.
Do you happen to know any of these tinkerers?
Unfortunately not, no. I don't have the pleasure. I am merely a representative of the coalition government, not very well versed in technology. But you?
Ah, good. Techno-tinkerers. Just what this side task was missing.
Let me just say that I have complete confidence in the RCM. I'm sure you'll figure something out.
Well, thank you for your time.
Always my pleasure to be of assistance to the RCM. Godspeed, and if we don't meet again, bonne chance.
Well, you'll forgive me if I hope we don't meet you again, because you continue to annoy me even when you are vital to a quest. It's like they got a guy whose just tone of voice makes me uncomfortable when he's talking. Alright, the fuck are we trying to find out here? Oh! Hello, people. 1 second. See, like, that looks like tear, but we can't pick it up. That's annoying. Hold on. Oh.
That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way, being so close to the water.
I can't see anything. Wait, what is this about?
Just a hunch. The hunch passes, leaving you there, by the old boy bobbing in the water. Time to go.
The buoy bobs in the water. The number on it says 11. Okay. Sup, dudes? What you doing over here? Tiny cages, carefully constructed. The soggy log smell of ignition fluid. Still, they won't light up. Okay, hold on. There's something over here. Hey, pocket change. I'll take it. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes and crumbling.
Here we go.
Hey!
Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
Of course they gave the cryptozoologist an Australian accent.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Well, hello, Gary the crypto-fascist. I didn't realize that was going... apparently that is his title. We have the cryptozoologist and the crypto-fascist.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You're Morel, the cryptozoologist?
To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Your wife, Lena, sent me. She's worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the AL-81.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the water lock with my motor carriage a few nights ago, but it's fixed now. You can go back.
You broke the water lock with a motor carriage? But there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
No. You see, I jumped over the canal in a motor carriage, tore through the Samaran Butter sign, which fell into the canal, blocking the gates. The pawn shop was the launch ramp.
Why?
Because I needed to drive into the ocean because I'm insane. It was an experiment to gauge the Capri 40's aerial performance. I'm something of a gentleman scientist. I'm sorry. I don't know. Why is it that even when apologizing, it just sounds fucking insane? I just don't know. I just don't know. I honestly don't. Unfortunately, I think it's because he really felt that he needed to drive it into the ocean.
Sure. But you said the water lock is fixed now. So we can go back.
Did he say we can go back now?
Crypto, huh? Yeah, it says it right there, Lord Brown Bear. It's right there on the screen. Gary the Crypto, right there. It's right there in plain bold-faced lettering.
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind.
His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work.
We're just missing Larry, the crypto bro. Unfortunately, this game was slightly before the whole NFT and crypto thing really took off thanks to the pandemic, so I don't think they were really thinking about that.
For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him.
Could you tell me about this phasmid you're looking for?
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it so difficult?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators or scientists in our present case.
What sort of specialized techniques could it use to hide itself, aside from its natural camouflage?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex, but I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolve, without studying a live specimen.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid.
How big is it?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
He leaves the conclusion.
Seems puny, to be honest.
It can also fly and use telekinesis. I mean, he didn't go that far. And also, it is an insect, so it being able to fly is not the strangest thing. Actually, that does beg a question. Are there any stick insects that can fly? Or any of those type of insects that fly? I don't think I've seen any of them do that, but I wouldn't rule it out. There are some praying mantises that also evolve natural camouflage, and they at least still have wings. It's like a gas station Steve Irwin. We have Steve Irwin at home. Why are you so interested in a stick bug? It doesn't seem to be as colorful as some of the other cryptids I've heard about.
Typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of my, of any, cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
Stick insects, I don't know, but there are flying insects that use mimicry. That is true.
Would be glory itself.
Well, what have you discovered about it so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
The cryptozoologist says brusquely enough that he even seems taken aback by it.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Lena said that there'd been a sighting of it here in Martin.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
I was about to make a comment about religion here, but that is a bit judgmental. A bit. I mean, I'm getting a very distinct feeling that Morell could have very well been a legit zoologist. He seems to take this seriously enough. This isn't just something that he does. This is something he actually believes in, and he follows proper scientific procedure. It's just that, as with most crypto-style things, he's essentially just barking up the wrong tree. It's kind of like how they do some of those documentaries on the flat earthers. And it's like some of these people are very intelligent. They do the experiments to prove their hypothesis. They end up failing because their hypothesis is wrong. Their only failing is that they can't see that they're wrong. They do the right work. They know the things that needed to be known in order to run these experiments and procedures and all of the various things they need to know. But they just refuse to see any other outcome than what they want to see. In that sense, it is religious. It's almost blind faith. Again, some of these people have very good reasons to believe this stuff, but it is really funny. It can be. It can be. In some ways, it can also be sad to see somebody take something that otherwise could be a brilliant mind and choose to put it to something that is so utterly useless. Maybe it died out.
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
No what?
Yes. The females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
Females reproducing without males. A travesty, a crime against passion and common sense. This arouses no special feelings in me. The thing is, I don't know why I have to say that. If it has no special feelings, Harry, you don't have to voice it. I suppose that's pretty clever for an animal.
Yes. Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
Tell me about these traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Does it eat its mate's head? To be fair, that's largely a spider and like praying mantis thing, and if I recall correctly, both of those experiments have been seen as very dubious because they basically starved the female ahead of time. And it's like, well, of course, if it's a starving female and it knows that the only source of food is going to be the person that is going to be the male that it's already, you know, done the deed with, yeah, it's starting to look like it would be a fine meal, wouldn't it? But again, I remember reading up about those experiments, and it's like, they weren't the most, like, do you eat your mate's head? I mean, I don't. No. I mean, I like biting, but, you know, that's its own thing. That's, we don't need to be talking about that. Thank you very much. Did Lena design
Yes.
things? And how do they work?
Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
So what are you using as bait?
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
A carnivorous stick insect seems slightly unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
Fun fact, in nature, a true herbivore essentially doesn't exist. Yes, animals tend to have systems in their own brains and psychologies that are basically, I am lacking in this nutrient, and if I can only get this nutrient from meat, well, then I'm going to eat meat. see the various viral videos of horses just grazing through grass, stumbling upon a chicken, and biting the chicken in half. Like, it's happened. Yes, I'm aware. Admittedly, in most scenarios, as long as the animal is getting most of their nutrients in a sufficient way, they do not engage in that behavior. It's only in cases of lean times or in times when the animal's local environment is not providing the correct balance of macro and micronutrition that this happens. But yes, omnivorousness is far more common, much to the vegan's dismay, I'm sure. Or pregnancy. Yes, that can also cause issues.
Not a big fan of skepticism, this one.
And what will you do if these traps don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Let me ask you about something else.
Yes. What?
Lena seemed pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Heck, even plants aren't herbivores if you want to be picky. I mean, technically, no. I mean, most plants photosynthesize, which that begs the question of using solar energy and what that falls under a context of. But yes, many plants are also opportunistically carnivorous. Mold species will eat just about anything that they can finally, get their roots into.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
Why does that guy's voice sound perfect for his fucking portrait? The nasaliness, just, I can hear it even when I'm just looking at his photo.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
Won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the Phasmid somehow.
I didn't know the Phasmid was so important to your wife.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
And that's why she got defensive when Kim was being skeptical around.
She's seen it?
So she cited the Phasmid. Didn't say
yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious Phasmid.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian Phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Another cough into his fist.
His spirit may be willing, but his body might be too old to endure the rigors of the coast.
He's struggling. Yeah. I mean, he's essentially, from the looks of it, they were essentially camped out here in the cold with very little protection for the last few days because the waterlock was broken. So they have not had much of a choice. Maybe they took cover in one of those abandoned structures to the south, but that still wouldn't be very comfortable. And it's obvious that he's very old at this point. Well, maybe you could go back to the whirling, warm up, and then come back check the traps later.
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the Phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
What if we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Well, we're looking for someone hiding on this coast. Looking for another thing might lead us to her.
Why not? At least it will give us the excuse to look into a lot of reeds.
That it will. That it absolutely will. I hope you brought your good boots.
Well, where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them...
He gestures to the trap in front
You
of him.
should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
And what do I do if by chance there's a phasmid in these traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
And if I run into it in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
All right, lay it on me thick. He douses you with the odd-smelling spray, a double helping as you present your other armpit, and then gives you a satisfied nod.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
All right, let's get to it.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and in need of assistance.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt. What about his eager-to-leave friend Gary there? Talk to him too, perhaps.
We are looking for a suspect in a case. Have you seen a woman with red hair who seemed to be in a hurry?
I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest.
The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed.
How did you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up, if you prod a little.
So you're living a bit of a childhood dream out here?
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
Oh, I wasn't being offensive. Why not just be a regular zoologist? The real animals can be puzzling too.
Real? I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
I mean, if you put enough work into it, you're putting your research into it, then I suppose it's a profession, just like any other.
Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
And has anything truly surprising ever happened?
No. As I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
So what kind of wider evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
So you've never actually found one?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
And how many cryptids have been confirmed?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Still, good sign that they're actually willing to call them out as hoaxes if they actually find evidence that somebody was scamming them, essentially. There's a lot of people who don't do that in these kind of things because it's just too lucrative to keep the scam going. Only 2 of those were proven real?
The Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves. More so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
I don't know how to say. I mean, I guess it's good you're honest, but that's a very small number of discoveries.
Do you know what the success rate in pharmacological research is? 0.00003% of bioreactive agents have reproducibly beneficial effects. Yet science persists in the search for medicine, as we persist in our search for new species.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Cryptozoology does sound like an interesting line of study, but it just seems so unrewarding. I mean, the vast majority of the time it's going to be a hoax. And of all the times that it's not a hoax, it's probably just going to be a regular animal, despite all of the stories around it. Now, is that still interesting? Yes, because there might be legitimate zoologists who simply dismiss it because it's a cryptid. And I think Morell falls into that category where he's someone who could very easily have pursued a career in traditional zoology, but his obsession with the quasi-paranatural and the more ludicrous stories pushed him in this direction. Plus, as he said, if his wife had a by her account, actual encounter, it might have pushed him emotionally in that direction as well. He isn't wrong. It is worthwhile study if it's just a unique beast or hard to find. Yes, it's just, I give Morell props that he's willing to, where was it? Where he says, like, yeah, the society I belong to has called out that a lot of these are hoaxes. And, like, that's a good sign, for one thing. Like the giant squid that a few decades ago we technically be classified as a cryptid. Yeah. Well, thank you for the explanation.
Yes?
Could we talk about a specific
cryptid? All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what...
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it. Since you've offered to help, you need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena, or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
Just go with the one that you said you almost caught. You said before that you had one.
A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialists would find rather dull.
And what is a willow person?
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees.
He says in a self-explanatory everyday manner.
They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here.
So we could have seen one of these things without knowing.
You probably have.
And how did you almost catch it?
Harrier and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself.
Okay, Morell, I appreciate that you're actually willing to go forward with this and that you're a true believer and all with this, but most paints, most trees don't do well with just a bright slab of paint getting thrown on them. That usually doesn't end well for the plant's health.
After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow, dashing through the grove. I chased it with a net. Not very elegant. You can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me.
A lavender shadow.
I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. Furthermore, I'm not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic.
He makes it a real point here to sound falsifiable.
And Lena's sighting of the phasmid, is that...
Confirmed. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting. Right. By all means.
That'll be enough then. And that'll be where we have to leave off. We'll talk with Gary... We'll talk with Gary next time. I have a feeling that's going to be a great initial conversation for the start of Sunday's stream. But we need to go ahead and save up here, get finished up. thank you all for being here and thank you all for joining me. This has been a very enlightening thing. As I said, we are... I don't remember... I remember Morel being out here. I did not remember most of Morel's discussion, and I don't remember Gary at all. I believe in the cryptid, the area. Oh, God. Well, no, it would be a Reva show. I don't know what the... shit, what was it? Occidental? That was what Measurehead called the people of Revachol, that they are an Occidental race or whatever. So he believes in the cryptid, the Uber Occidental? I don't fucking know. Oh shit, does this mean this is the weasel that Everett had us look in on? Because this is the only guy we've run into called this, and he has the freaking sun behind him on his poster, or on his picture. Is this the dude whose house we broke into? I think it might be. Well, that's going to be it for us today. That's going to be it for us now. We can have more speculation on Sunday when we talk to Gary. Oh, Lord. Let's go see if there's somebody to raid. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, hey, we can return the favor. Sucrose Ceres just started streaming Total War Rome 2. They raided into us a few days ago, and shoot, I don't remember what they were playing. I think it was Star Wars Galaxies they were playing. Let's go. We're gonna go ahead and raid into them. They're a fellow VTuber. They've raided into us a few times. I think we've raided into them a couple of times as well, but we'll return the favor since they did so a couple of days ago. Looks like they are playing, Total War Rome 2. So if you want to watch, who are they playing? Oh, they're playing the Spartans. Okay, so if you want to watch the Spartans go kick people's asses, I guess we can do that. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me. Total Warhammer is better, Joe. Hey, Total Warhammer is a good game, but hey, the historical games from the Total War series have their place, Tenwin. They do. They absolutely do. It is still fun to cast magic in Total War Warhammer, not gonna lie. But the historical games absolutely have their place, and I do hope that Creative Assembly does not forget that. I would love to see a new proper medieval Total War, or maybe a Napoleonic era Total War or something. That would be very nice. I'd love to see them do that in the future. For right now, Total War Warhammer is great, though. Total Wars are great. They have their place. Warhammer is above it. Okay. All right. Well, yes, please mind your manners when we raid into other people's stuff. Please do. But I hope you all have had a great time today. I hope to see you all tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I will see you all on Friday, where we'll probably be starting Shadowrun, and I'll need to make sure that that works tomorrow with everything. Last thing I need is to start streaming everything to be broken. But I will see you guys then, and on Sunday we will continue Disco Elysium. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later.